Halloween creeps. My name is Cameron and welcome back to my channel where I talk about books, movies, writing, and all things spooky. And on this episode of Library Macabre, I have a very special Halloween treat for you. This is my most requested video ever. I get requests for this every day, and I have been telling you guys it's coming, and it's finally here. I have been saving this video for Halloween because I thought it would be a really good Halloween treat for all of you guys. So this is my brand new, updated library tour video. Now, the last library tour I did was of my old library, which was at my old house. I have since moved, so everything is very different, and all you've really seen is this corner. You've not seen the rest. There's a lot to see, so I'm going to show you an overview of the entire library, and then throughout the next several months I'm going to be uploading many parts of my in-depth bookshelf tour where I'll show you all of the books in my collection. But before I get into the library tour, I did want to let you guys know that I am doing a very special Halloween giveaway for my book, Autumn Crow. It's about a town called Autumn Crow Valley where it is Halloween every night. But a lot of really weird and spooky things happen there, so you might want to think twice before you move there. I'm going to be giving away 5 ebook copies of Autumn Crow. All you have to do is leave a comment down below and make sure you are subscribed to my channel. That's very important. Also, I am going to give away a copy of Local Haunts, a horror tube anthology edited by R. St. Clair. I have a story featured in here called At the End of the Rope. It's amongst a bunch of other really talented horror tubers and authors in our horror community. I'm going to be giving away 1 free paperback copy of Local Haunts to one of you. So again, leave me a comment down below, make sure that you're subscribed, and I will be drawing the winners very soon. This is open internationally, by the way, so it doesn't matter where you live, you are eligible. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into the library tour right after the intro. So here is my updated library. I'm gonna start with this corner. This is where I film almost all of my videos. This is my reading chair, and then my table. Down here on the bottom shelf is where I put my books that I'm going to be reading soon. Come around the side, and I also have a few more books. I have these LED floodlights that I got from Walmart. They were only $7.99 a piece. So I bought a blue, a green, and a red, and makes for a really nice bright background. So I know all of you guys are mostly here for the horror, so I'm gonna start with the horror section first. The horror section actually starts down here on this shelf. Now, I'm not going to go really in depth into what I have. I'm going to do that later on in a multi-part video. Right now I'm just mostly gonna scan the shelves so you can get an idea of what I own. In the corner, I have these vintage Halloween animatronics. I got these at a yard sale during the summer, and I love them. They were only $5 a piece, even though they were originally $80 at Kmart. Next, we have the shelf with all of my vintage horror paperbacks. And then on the top of the shelf, I have all of my Stephen King books. And of course, the horror paperbacks go behind the chair a little ways and behind my table. On the top of this shelf, I have Anne Rice, I have some Peter Straub, John Saul, Brian Lumley, a couple of random books. This starts my adult horror hardcover section, or just oversized paperbacks. And on the very bottom, we start into the modern YA horror, which continues up here on this top shelf and goes all the way down. Here we have the original painting for my book Autumn Crow. The artwork is done by Cameron Rubique. He did an amazing job. And of course, the skeleton guards my Goosebumps collection, which is on this shelf. And then all of my middle grade horror is held on this shelf. And this continues my spooky middle grade section. I have quite a few books from my childhood, and I still pick up these books whenever I can find them for cheap. Here we have all of my original Are You Afraid of the Dark books. We have some X-Files. Now we're getting into science fiction. And the sci-fi continues behind my book cart. This is where I put all of my books that I'm going to be reading. So this is my TBR cart. It's very, very helpful. Moving aside the cart, I have the rest of my science fiction. So we have adult science fiction, YA, middle grade. All of my Animorphs books are on the bottom. On the top, we have all of my Barnes & Noble leatherbound books, some Easton Press. These books are just gorgeous. I love how they look on the top. And next we have all of my adult fantasy. And on the bottom shelves we have a little bit of YA fantasy. Under my window I have a few spooky knickknacks. My Spooky Town Haunted Library, which is one of my favorite pieces. And we continue on with my YA fantasy and some middle grade fantasy on the bottom, Harry Potter books on the top, and more middle grade fantasy. Here we have an original Goosebumps poster, and this is just a coat closet. I'm not going to show you what's in there. It's nothing interesting, I promise. Here we have just a cork board, my dehumidifier for my library. I highly recommend getting one of those. It keeps everything nice and dry in here so the books don't mold. And we have all of my YA contemporary. Got some Sweet Valley books over there. And we are slowly making our way back around to where we started. On this shelf I have mystery, middle grade mystery, some comic books, and then just some random fiction and non-fiction. On the top shelf we have just a little bit more middle grade fantasy, which bleeds into adult mystery, more adult mystery and crime fiction. And on the bottom, I still have a few of my picture books from when I was a kid. And in this box I have magazines, comic books, usually horror themed, middle grade mystery. This is my Nancy Drew shelf. I love Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys. There's quite a few books behind these as well. And now we are getting into the comic books. On the top of this one, I'm going to end up building some shelves like I did here. These top parts are actually shelves that I added and built on. So I'm going to do the same because I need extra room for books. And then I'm eventually going to put a shelf above there. And that'll hold all of my Funko Pops and any other collectibles that I have. This shelf just holds some random middle grade fiction, some random adult fiction and classics. These are all of my non-fiction books. I'm not much of a non-fiction reader. And then this shelf, of course, starts with my horror section. And then, of course, we have my desk in the middle of the room. And the books in front of this are all non-fiction, but they're kind of just spooky non-fiction books. I usually read these in preparation for writing. Of course, there's the desk itself. It's where the magic happens. Thank you all so much for watching this library tour. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to enter down below to win Autumn Crow or local haunts. I will let you guys know very soon who the winners are. Thanks again for watching. Have a very happy Halloween. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later, creeps.